Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I know you guys are on mute, but that doesn't mean this isn't going to be an interactive and a fun time. My name is Dr. January Lewis, and I am pleased to have you guys joining us this evening. If you would be so kind as to do me a favor and put yes in the chat if you can hear me. I don't want to spend this hour and a half talking to myself and having our presenters saying some things that you don't get to hear. So I've seen one yes. So either everybody can't hear me or we don't know how to use the chat. So let's see which one it is. Can anyone else hear me? All right, I got a second yes. So hopefully you guys are paying attention. There's going to be a ton of information. Again, since I know you can at least hear me now, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name again is Dr. January Lewis. Just call me January, February, March, April, whatever month you'd like. I'll answer. We're going to have a wonderful time because I have a great opportunity. And I'm not always excited, but today I'm excited. Well, let me tell you a little bit more about why I'm excited and why you're going to be excited. Number one, you've already taken the first step into learning something that a lot of people don't know. And I'm going to tell you honestly, I'm excited because I don't know what he's about to talk about. I mean, I kind of looked through his slides, but I don't know the things that he's presenting. I was blown away by the topics that he's going to talk about, our featured speaker. So let me tell you a little bit more. And I've got my notes over here, so you'll see me clicking off every now and then. Let me tell you a little bit about what you're attending tonight. What you are attending is the Dallas College Entrepreneur Speaker Series. This speaker series is designed for small business owners. It doesn't matter if you're an employee of one or if you're an employee of 100. We bring the information you need to you. Yes, people pay for this exact same information, but not you, not tonight. You're going to get this. Why? Because this is what we do. We try to meet you where you are to get you where you want to go. So we've got 5 of these series that we're doing this fall. We've been doing this for about 4 years now, where we're bringing in different speakers from all walks of life to teach you the things that really benefit your business. So we've got 5 of these free entrepreneur speaker series going on this fall. So again, these are curated informational sessions designed for entrepreneurs and small businesses to meet you where you are to get you where you want to be. That being said, somebody has already asked, are you going to record this? We're going to do better than record it. We've got an AI companion in the meeting, not just one, but 2. Why? Because they do 2 different things. So this AI companion is going to, number one, pay attention even if you're not. So let's just say you have to step away and you come back and you go, wait a minute, what did I miss? There is an AI companion that you can click on. If you look on your toolbar, you will see an AI companion that you can click ask a meeting question. And he will answer, or the AI companion will answer what it is that you missed, depending on that particular thing, so you can catch up. We also have another AI companion in the meeting that's taking notes, not just any notes. They're capturing the slides and they're capturing every word that comes out of my mouth and summarizing it so that after this, we can send you a link to the recording. We can send you the actual PowerPoint deck, and we can send you the summary so you can quickly find exactly what you're looking for, all with the power of AI. So I know you guys are going to have some questions. So let me tell you ahead of time. I am your moderator. Just because you're on mute does not mean you don't have a voice. You have a voice. So now before I go to my next slide, let me make sure you guys can see my slides fine. So I've had a couple people that said they can hear me, but can you guys see the slides? Okay, except the person on the phone. You're going to miss out on some things. But can anybody put in the chat? Can you guys see my slides? Somebody tell me yes, no, send up a clapping emoji, something so that I know you guys can see my slides. Anyone? I'm gonna pause until somebody says yes, because it makes no sense to go forward without the slides. All right, I got a thumbs up. Chris is on it. So I'm hoping that everybody else knows how to use the functions. Because if you don't know how to use chat, thanks, Michelle. Good here, great. Because I want to make sure you guys know how to reach me. I want to make sure you guys, if you have a question, put it in the chat. I'm not going to ask the question exactly when you ask it for 2 reasons. Either one, because it's coming up and he's going to get to it. Or number 2, I don't want to break the flow. So give me a minute to work it in, and then I'll hit Jeff with a bunch of questions. That being said, y'all ready to get started? Because I'm ready to get started. So we're going to talk about AI. I don't know what you guys were thinking when you heard AI. Me, I was like, AI? You mean like the people who make me skinny? Like, look at these pictures. Like, who are these women? I AI'd my picture, and that's what it came up as. Do I look like that? I mean, maybe one of them, kind of, but I don't know who that is. So wait a minute, somebody says I do look like this. You don't think I do? I know my light's kind of bright, but they really changed me up. That's what AI does. But AI does more than you ever thought that it could do. So that being said, I'm ready for you to see the different parts of AI. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our speaker, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you can expect from him, because it might be different than what you thought. But do me a favor, stay in there, because what you're going to get is going to blow your mind. I took a sneak peek, and it's already blowing my mind. So that being said, you guys are in for something. I don't really know what all AI can do. I don't know if we're ready for this. So you see these three pictures? Some of them might be AI. Some of them might be real. Any guesses? Which one is real? Picture number one, picture number two, or picture number three? Put it in the chat. I want to see which one, how good you think AI is. Which of these is a real picture of our speaker for the evening? I'll wait or I'll start calling on people. So let me tell you think. Somebody says number one. All right. Definitely not the one with the facial hair. All right. Somebody says no. All right. What else do we have? One, two, or three? Which one of these is a real picture of our speaker? Anybody? I'm gonna start calling on some people. All right. Okay. What you thinking? I like that. See, I might have tricked you up by having AI change the background, but keeping the foreground. So which one of these is a real picture? All right, I'll keep it open for another 4 or 5 seconds for you guys to put it in the chat. Anyone? All right, somebody says it's hard to tell. It is hard to tell. Why? Because none of them are him. Like, this is the dude you're about to meet, and he's super cool. I'm gonna tell you something. We thought AI was cool because not only did it kind of color him, because he literally, I found a black and white picture. It gave it colors, it gave him a smile, it gave him a background. Did y'all see picture number 3? It gave him teeth. Why am I paying for braces and Invisalign when AI could do this for me? So y'all, you're in for something. But I got to tell you that I want to set the tone and the level of your expectations. This is going to blow your mind, not because it's like way too much, but it's because AI is not what you were thinking. So me, I went to Photoshop and stuff because that's what I thought this was going to be about. How to market with AI, how to make pictures better. But then I realized when I started looking through his slides, y'all, I've been missing out. The things that AI can do, you can get somebody to Photoshop something, that's easy. But all the things I've been doing, like manually doing with data, and all the things I've been trying to figure out, I own a company. I own a strategic consulting agency. That means I tell other people what to do for a living. But I've been doing it the hard way. AI is going to do it the smart way. So that being said, after this short little clip, the next person you see on camera, because I'm gonna disappear, and the next voice you're gonna hear is gonna be none other than our speaker, Jeff. So get ready, guys. If you don't have your sound on, turn it on. Just don't turn it too high, because this guy is gonna be at the top of the charts. Let's go.
It's more than to compute. It's more than to compute. It's more than to compute. It's more than to compute.
You still on mute, Jeff. Come on off and we can hear you. There you go.
Well,
There now,
Yeah.
check 1, 2. Hi, there we go. That's always good when your expert can't figure out how to use the mute button on the Zoom meeting. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for the lovely introduction, Dr. Lewis. My name is Jeff Schroer. I'm excited to talk to you guys about AI writ large. Today's going to be a very, very high level overview of the different types of AI, especially the ones that can be meaningful to us as marketers, and how to approach the technology overall correctly so that you're getting the most out of the technology and so that, we are part of a digital citizenship moving forward that is going to be completely different now that we're going to be operating with these autonomous systems and these incredibly powerful tools. Move one ahead here. There we go. Okay. Well, I'm a little split up here. I'm not sure if you can read the entire slide, but the gist of it is that AI has created incredible tools for us as marketers, but marketing will always be about human connection, emotion, things that cannot be generated from scraping the internet full of images and text and authors and poetry. There's something I genuinely believe is innately human about us that can be lost if we don't use these tools correctly. On the other side, we can use these tools to be more human, have better interaction, and create more of an emotional connection with our consumers if we do use them with that in mind and use them, at scale. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up my deck here just where I can see a little bit better. Goals for the presentation. But this is going to be an incredibly high level introduction to different types of AI technologies. And again, specifically as they relate to marketing, this is not going to be any type of exhaustive, AI tool listing box. There are stuff used. There are tools being used by NASA and oceanography and lots of other professions outside of my purview that have tools that I don't know or don't know of or how to apply to marketing. So what we're going to do is go over some of the basic stuff that you've heard or acronyms you've heard a lot passed around recently, brands you've heard passed around lately, and kind of tell you what they do. What excited me most about talking on this subject when Dr. Lewis invited me was the idea, the mental framework that we have to have as marketers and as citizens of the year 2024. A mental framework for engaging with a technology unlike anything that we've ever, experienced as a species. This is bigger than social media. It's bigger than the internet, and it is absolutely 100% inevitable. Part of my background is, I've made my career by engaging with new technology, and I've never stopped doing so. I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I grew up in Dallas. I got a degree in media arts and modern art from the University of Texas at Arlington. Late in the 90s, I left school and went to work for a post-production television house in Dallas called Southwest Teleproductions and worked on the very first Avid editing system in Texas. For those of you old enough to remember or who have done any video production, Avid was the very first video editing system ever. Before then, we had giant tape machines and we spliced tape together and we copied on top of each other to tapes. The Avid by Adobe was the first digital video editing software. And in 1997, when I started there out of college, our rate card, it said we have 30 gigs of storage. That was like more than anybody could absolutely believe. And so we could do like 16 minutes of real-time video, but completely digital. When I graduated from college, I had never used an Avid. So I was kind of in a position to embrace new technology, sink or swim. And I dove right in. And much like continuing to make myself discover new music, I constantly remind myself, now that I'm in my 50s and now that we're having this next wave with AI, to not turn my back on technology, not to poo-poo it, not to say things were better. When I was younger, there's countless stories of, people when the first cars started rolling around, throwing rocks at cars because, the horses will always be better. There are a million stories like that in history, and there's some technology that is unavoidable, and going to happen at a mass that you can't. Not only can you not avoid it, you are going to be engaging with it on a regular basis. So it's best for you to understand it, no matter what your politics are, what your thoughts are on technology writ large, what your thoughts are on the billionaire tech guys in Silicon Valley. None of that matters if something's inevitable. So figure out a way to embrace new technology as you get older and as these technologies start to come out faster. Don't be afraid to engage something that you don't understand, and don't ever make the mistake of sticking in the mud and saying, I've learned all I can learn, I've got enough tech to do my job, because that will not be the case moving forward. Technology used to move at a very slow pace. It took almost 80 years for everybody in the United States to get a telephone. Everybody in the United States can be playing a game on their phone within 17 hours now at that same scale. So we've gone from generations to, hours as far as mass adoption goes. So especially when we're talking about digital technology, I really want you to have a mental framework to figure out how to always approach it, and approach it with the idea of how can I use this technology to express my humanity. All of these things, whether we can see them or not, whether it's a hammer laying in my toolbox or a giant system of supercomputers somewhere in Amazon's warehouse, they're tools for humans. And so figure out how to use those tools to increase your humanity, and your humanity depends on how well you do your job as marketers. We are already inundated, I'm sure, with automated messaging and bad chat bots and, obvious face tuning, these kinds of things. All of those technologies are going to get much, much better to where they will be indistinguishable. But I think there's also a tremendous opportunity for us as marketers and individuals to really use the technology to bring out our humanity rather than trying to strip it out of our everyday life. Moving on, the meat and potatoes of this presentation is going to be the three, what I call critical pillars of AI marketing, the three kind of buckets or area that there are really powerful AI tools that we can use to apply right now to a business from the size of a small Etsy shop to, a fast food restaurant with multiple locations. And finally, because I am a music and an art nerd, I'm going to make an overarching comparison as to why I fully believe we should all, and you should, try and approach technology like the German band Kraftwerk versus the giant tech billionaires, Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Musk. What I'm going to go to now is a little bit of a behind the scenes or making of the opening video you saw. I created that video in the last 24 hours. It took me less than 90 minutes to generate the video. I didn't open a camera, go to a location. I did not leave my desk. I used a platform called Runway ML. It is a brand new text to video image generator that will allow you to generate 10 seconds of AI video based on completely on text prompts. We're going to play with that a little later. I'm going to show you guys some examples, but I want to give you a really quick glance of how these powerful tools can be used in a short period of time for us to do things like create content for our users on social media, or create internal pitch decks to talk about product development and supply chain issues. This is basically a compilation of 5 videos, and I will kind of talk through some of the prompts as we watch them here on the screen. Let it go past. I really wanted to try and kind of create a retro futuristic kind of an idea of what a Mad Men agency would look like for AI. I wanted to be cinematic and interesting. I gave it a lot of prompts about 1960s New York, retro futuristic, digital advertising agency in the 50s. So I gave it a different combination of text prompts, and each one provided a slightly different result. But as you can see, watching the full clips of all of those videos, there's lots of stuff in there that is just wild, dreaming, kind of, glitchy, crazy, not photorealistic moments that are, generated as a part of the process of making these videos. These tools are getting more and more powerful, and your ability to write the right prompts and fine tune them with your humanity is what is going to get the best result. This quote that's on right now on the slide is something my old man, my dad used to tell me when I was a kid for years, and I never really understood it. But he always said, "A poor workman blames his tools." People will blame, the AI or this software or that software. At the end of the day, it's you as the human, and the AI and this software, they're only tools. So you've got to make things human centered. Don't blame your tools. There's a lot of text on these next couple of slides. I'm going to go through this relatively quickly, and make sure we provide you guys all a copy of the deck after the presentation, so you can go back in and dive in a little bit quicker. But these are the different types of AI tools and some of the acronyms you typically hear about. And then we're going to talk about these tools as they apply to the three kind of pillars of AI marketing as I see them a little further in the presentation. The most common and what you typically hear about are LLMs, large language models. This is your ChatGPTs. Gemini is Google's version of that. Llama is Meta's version of that. LLMs are probably the most used and most common of the consumer today. Everything from ideation, copywriting, content creation, demographic research, email marketing, how to spin up chatbots, how to make your website more optimized. And some of these, more advanced LLMs can actually help you code software to create an app for a phone or a desktop app, to go along with your marketing tools as a part of your business product. The next most common are the natural language processing models. There are some specific platforms that I've given you here under each area of the different types of tools. Don't worry, there's a glossary at the end of the presentation that you'll all get that has a live link to each one of these tools and platforms, so you can kind of go check them out on your own. And I could not encourage you more to go just engage with a lot of these different tools. Most of them, or many of them, are free or have a free tier. For instance, ChatGPT, if you have a non-paid subscription, you can ask it like 3 to 6 questions a day. So that is an absolutely free tool to use right there. Many of you probably, if you're in marketing or do anything with social media, have a subscription to Adobe Cloud. Adobe now offers a part of their Adobe Express web browser software, image generation. So there's ways that you can use and engage this technology with subscriptions you probably already have, you haven't thought about, but you can do it basically for free. And I would engage you to do that with as many different versions of these models as you can, as you find interesting. For me to engage with AI first, like if I want to learn something, I need to apply it to something I love. For me, that wasn't, consumer data research. For me, that was making music, DJing, making music. So I found an AI platform that we won't talk about today, but as an example, there are a couple different new AI platforms out. The one I use in particular is called LAI.ai, that will take any song in recorded history that you have an MP3 or a WAV file from, put it in, and it will break it down into what we call its stems, or its different parts. It will break out the lyrics, the bass line, the guitar, the piano, the drums, all into separate elements. So basically, it kind of breaks down each song that you want to have. It allows you to rearrange it and remix it and make your own version of that song using some very basic AI technology. Now, like most of these technologies, none of it is absolutely perfect, but they are incredibly impressive, enough to where I use them on a regular basis and will play songs and remixes I've made using AI while I'm out. But again, I'm using it as a tool to extract pieces of a song so I can reassemble them from my creativity, finding a way to express my humanity by using these AI tools. Now, back to the natural language processing. Again, these are things that you will hear as buzzwords, but I just kind of want to give you an idea of what these specific models do. When we talk about NLPs, This extracts insights from customer feedback, reviews, and social media. It can look at, tons and tons of data, especially if you're working with, Google or Amazon cloud services. They have tremendous amounts of data, probably about your existing consumers, and probably data that you can buy into at some point if you want to go to premium. But that allows you to extract insights at scale from things, again, such as the type of language used in a Yelp review, that is incredibly powerful to us as marketers and giving us some insights into how our consumers and guests are interacting with our businesses or with our competitors' businesses. It can help you, pull out an overarching sentiment. What is the general thoughts around your brand? When we talk about, your hot dog cart, is the first word that comes up bad mustard, or the first, comment that's always bad mustard, or it doesn't have mustard, or is it, overcooked hot dogs, or is it best hot dogs in Central Park? That type of sentiment analysis, we can do by, standing in Central Park and asking people, or having, them fill out cards, having them fill out, information going through their website, or those annoying email follow-up surveys that we all get. But that could never touch the amount of data that already exists out there about most of these businesses, products, experiences, that is already in the cloud with somebody like Meta, Amazon, Google, or in many cases, an open source, data model. So extracting sentiment analysis at that type of scale makes it that much more applicable to your everyday, marketing, as well as much more accurate. And also, we can do things with NLPs, keyword extraction. Again, what are the buzzwords coming in around your brand, and language understanding. If you're getting customers from outside of the global region where you speak that language, can we translate that language? Can we extract the sentiment? Can we know how our customers are feeling in France if we don't speak French? Machine learning, another one, buzzword you probably hear quite a bit. This mostly goes into the types of giant companies that I was mentioning before: Google, Amazon, Microsoft. These companies that have the ability and the data sets to do, train their machines or do machine learning on data sets that no individual human could ever read over decades and decades of time. So it can ingest unimaginable amounts of data, and then help you take the information there and forecast future consumer behaviors, trends, and outcomes. It looks at historical data and it can identify patterns, maybe around holidays, maybe when it's hot outside, maybe always in October, maybe when there's the one parade in our town for the Little League World Series every year. There's a spike, but machine learning can help us tell us when that's going to happen so we can plan for it, stock up, make sure the inventory supply lines are right, take advantage of it, and convert people. We can learn about our customers' churn, how often the customers are leaving or joining your network, as well as optimizing basic marketing campaigns. And again, I'm going to keep this moving a little bit. We'll get into some more of the fun stuff here.
Got a couple questions that I got sent. So one of our attendees says, I'm not a marketer. I have a small catering business and I want to move forward, and AI is foreign to me. So can you tell me, out of these three things on the screen, which one I might want to use to get started? Or I think you just switched to the next screen, so you may want to go back.
Yeah.
But out of these things, which one applies to me? And give me a quick example. If I'm a caterer, say I specialize in cakes or in office catering, how would I use these? One quick example.
Yeah. Wow, I would pull it up and do it for you really quick, but it's a very, very simple answer to that. First of all, if you're a business owner, you're a marketer. Whether you like it or not, those things come hand in hand. You automatically, as an entrepreneur or a business owner, are responsible for helping sell or move your product, whether it's B2B, B2C, whether it's cupcakes or software. So learn to embrace the idea that part of your business, part of the hat you have to wear as an entrepreneur, especially as a small business person, is marketing. Now, the simple answer to this is literally to go to ChatGPT. I like Gemini a lot. It's the Google version of the LLM. I have not messed with Llama that much, but all three of those tools have free levels. Gemini, I use probably the most often. I would go to Gemini if I had a bakery business, and let's say I was in Addison, Texas. I would say, Gemini, tell me the top 5, bakery businesses in Addison, that create cakes. What are the top 3 in sales and the most popular on social media? Give me an idea of who my competitors are. What's the most popular kind of cake in October in Addison? Can you go and pull some data and say, what is the type of cake most frequently bought this month in this location? And then you, as a business owner, figure out how to make that cake, make a better version of that cake, or bring people's awareness to the fact that you have that cake when you know they already want it. Those are just 2 very, very basic examples. But go in there. The first thing I like to do is a little bit of demographic and research about your competitors. So most of us have small businesses that operate regionally, and we're not global or statewide yet. So especially if something like a small bakery, go in and find out about the amount of bakeries that are around you. Outside of the Whole Foods and Kroger's of the world, how many independent bakeries are there? Do they do wedding cakes? Do they do catering? Do they have a walk-in place? Find out what your competitors are doing, who's successful, who's not, and then start to ask the AI about things that you specialize in. I as a baker have the best red velvet cake in the world. Like, this is where I make my bread and butter. People come to me for my red velvet cake. Well, let's ask Gemini, what's the month most likely to sell the most red velvet cakes? What is an event that matches up with people purchasing red velvet cake more than any other day? Again, these are very, very ballpark, simple places to start. But the first thing I would do for anybody on this call, whether you're a marketer or not, if you're an entrepreneur, you work for a small business, or you're a small business owner, after this call, sometime tonight or tomorrow, go to one of the links at the back of this deck, open ChatGPT, open Gemini, open Law, and just text it some questions about your business and the area that you're in. What are the competitors? Who are the winners? Who are the losers? What is the best seasons? Think of the questions you would just want to know from a genie if you could ask, what are my competitors doing in Addison with, bakeries right now? So sorry to be long-winded about it, but I get excited because you're exactly the type of people that can use this tool. This tool is not for just crazy software engineers, nerds, geeks, and the people that do $1 billion in cake sales every year. These are tools that are available to you right now as an entrepreneur. And the faster you can kind of engage them and learn to utilize them, the quicker you can get ahead of your competitors who are still not learning about AI yet and will wait until they are forced to. And people that when you wait to be forced to adapt the technology, you're already late. Your competitors are ahead of you. So I hope that answers your question. Was there not something else that you had there,
No,
Dr. Lewis?
it answered the question so well, it actually answered the other 2. And someone replied back and said, thank you, because I was thinking I was supposed to go to AI and tell it to make what I wanted. I should be asking AI what I need. So good answer
Well,
there. All right, great. I know we got
absolutely.
a time limit, so keep on going, but great.
No sweat. Well, I'm glad this is the perfect time for these to be coming up, because there are text to image and video to image generators like the video I just showed you. So there are AI tools that you can go in and tell it what to make, or put in a picture and say, take the beach ball out of this photo, or add Godzilla to the background. So there's an AI that does that. But the most common, most powerful, and the easiest AI to use for marketers and small business owners are the LLMs, large language models. Start there by asking it all of the magic questions. Just again, like, think about it almost like a genie. If you want to ask anybody about your competitors, the type of business you run, gross revenues, times of year, all of those things, like you will, once you start getting in there, you will start thinking of other questions. So just doing that, you can do for free, and you'll be blown away by the level of insight you can get pretty quickly. I will note, and I will continue to note throughout this entire talk, that these tools are not perfect. You cannot just cut and paste answers from these tools and trust it 1000%. It will get there in 5 or 10 years. And it's incredibly pretty damn accurate right now, but it is not accurate enough that you can just go and cut and paste something or take it as absolute biblical fact if the LLM spits it back to you. If I'm back to the bakery analogy, if I say, who has the best, red velvet cake, in all of Addison, and it's, Annie's Bakery in Addison. And I go and I look up Annie's Bakery in Addison. Well, actually, that closed 3 years ago during COVID. So, there are little bits and pieces, and there are ways that these, machines do miss the mark, or what they will call hallucinate. So take these always as a starting place, and especially for critical information or insights that you really feel like can give you leverage, go double check them, learn more about them from other sources, type it into another LLM, get it from Gemini, and then go ask ChatGPT the same question, see if it gives you the same type of answers. But don't just always assume that these things are correct, because they are absolutely not. I'll finish up with these tools because I think we're all anxious to kind of get to some more use cases here, which is great. Customer data platforms, again, these are the types of things that can create unified profiles and help you deliver personalized experiences based on your regular users. So if you have, 5,000 people that are regularly coming to your site that are, buying your knitted hats from your Etsy storefront, you could use one of these, CDPs to start figuring out who those people are and delivering a more personalized response. If every year that somebody buys a knitted beanie from you before they go hiking every fall, and they buy one for their friends, let's remind them the next time that's coming up, hey, I know you hooked up your friends last year, here's a photo I found from that you posted on social media of you guys wearing our caps. Can I get you guys another order this year, and I'll send you one for free. And again, I'm spitballing here, but you think about ways that you can predict your customers' behavior and deliver personalized human experiences that will convert your customers. The more you can use this to be human and to do something nice for someone, the fact that, when I go to a restaurant now, they know how many times I've been there, they know what kind of wine I like to drink. That's the computer's not doing anything there other than being a tool for that server or that waiter. But when that waiter comes up and says, hey, Jeff, I know you love this Pinot Noir from Willamette Valley, I've got a new one, why don't you want to try this? That human moment sold me, not the fact that there was a piece of data in the reservation software. So again, tools to express our humanity. AI to text and video image generating. This is what I think one of our guests or one of our audience was asking about earlier, and what I showed you from the runway model about being able to create images and video from literally just typing a text in a box. Now, you can also, add the photography that you've taken and improve it, or again, remove unwanted objects. Perfect shot at the beach of my beach towel that I share at my Etsy store, but there's a dude with a huge beer gut in the corner of the picture. Well, I can bring it into one of these models and say, take out the guy with the beer gut in the corner, and let's replace that with some regular sand and clean it up and have an image that we can use. And I don't have to, call in a Photoshop expert to do that. It's something that, most of us can do with a little bit of practice using some of these text and image generation tools. Sentiment analysis, we talked about it a little bit earlier. This gets us to, for much bigger brands, typically when you have giant sources of data. But again, you're looking at folks like, Google and Amazon. The Hugging Face Transformers group is a great open source group. If you want to play with some of these sentiment analysis tools, they are free and open source. It's a little more, hands-on. But again, there are great resources for you here to try and understand the thoughts and how your consumers are thinking around your brands and your competitors without doing pain in the ass email surveys. Wrap it up. This is the last stage of these types of tools. Programmatic advertising platforms. Everybody knows you can advertise on TikTok, you can advertise on Instagram, advertise on websites. It used to be you would go in and you would say, okay, well, I want this to go out on Wednesdays between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. to people most likely to, they're most likely having a beer at a bar in one of these 3 states. And that was pretty good. Now, with AI, it can drill down to exactly the age range, race, income level, of affiliations, preferences, their sneaker types, their where they eat in restaurants. All of those data points can now be pulled in to help really accurately target some of your consumers by using this technology and plugging it into TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, some of these places where you would typically serve, especially on your mobile-based ads. Their marketing automation platforms. Everybody's probably heard of HubSpot, Marketeo, Bardot. Like these allow you to basically get an AI to crank out repetitive tasks. Think about, again, giant email campaigns or A/B testing 50,000 emails versus 50,000 emails of a different message. Building a social media calendar. Like anybody who runs a brand knows it is a feed the beast world, and it is hard to keep that social media content, calendar full. It can also, again, help you ensure that you're reading the right content is reaching your audience at the right time. Image and video recognition is, again, applies to probably bigger brands with physical products, but it is something that we can use as marketers if you work with a brand or you have a business that you need to have people or you need to have the computers look at photos. Let's say your business, builds swing sets for public schools. Well, I need to, look at, 8,000 sets of swing sets and figure out which ones are the most popular, which ones are the safest, and I don't want to go through photo by photo and circle them. Well, I can, get an image and video recognition platform, pour all that data in there, all the data that I have, buy the data that I want around playgrounds from, that's scraped from somewhere else, analyze that visual content, track the visibility across platforms, and then measure the success of the content that you're putting out there. You feed the image and video recognition platforms your videos, your content that you put on TikTok, that you put on Instagram, that you put on Facebook, that you put on X, and say, how well did this perform? Did this show up? Did these images show up in this other, sea of information that's out there? And if so, who is seeing it? So again, these are all types of tools that you can use for different tasks that might be a part of the marketing funnel. There's not a one size fits all necessarily. AI. There are AI, artificial intelligence applications to lots of different areas. Don't feel overwhelmed by all of the names of these things and the different types. You're going to get a copy of this deck and links to every one of the platforms that is talked about, so you can go kind of plug around and check it out for yourself. What we'll get to now is kind of the broad reaching kind of three pillars or the buckets of marketing that I believe we can best apply AI to, from small business owners to larger corporations. Very simply put, we make better data-driven decisions because we can have AI look at more data than any individual human could in multiple lifetimes. We can use that data to create predictive analytics to know when our customers are going to want something, or when it might be a slow season and I need to keep my inventory a little lower, don't need to pay all the supply chain trucking, the same amount, because I know that September is a slow month for us. And for me, and as part of the theme of this talk, is the idea of doing personalization at scale. Now, and you probably, if you're on this call, already had an interaction with an AI chatbot somewhere on some website, and it most likely sucked, like Chase Bank or Amazon. Like most of them are pretty rudimentary, but there are tools coming out now where we can each, as an individual marketer, train our own chatbot on language we use, on language our customers use, with a sense of humor, with the ability to contact an actual human being, should that be the wish of that consumer. Part of the importance and the approach to this technology is always be transparent. Never use AI to try and trick anybody or make them think that it's magic. This is a tool the same way as you wouldn't try and trick somebody on a math problem using a calculator in the 70s. Like, yeah, I used a calculator to solve that math problem. I used AI so that I could talk to more personally to everybody, in my email list at scale. These are great tools, but use them to create human moments rather than replace human moments. I guess I'll leave it at that. Again, as we talked about, data-driven decision, there's never been a technology in the past that can analyze as much data, whether it's text, whether it's old software, whether it's video files, whether it's image files, whether it's poetry, PDFs, medical dictionaries. I mean, think of all of the Alexandria libraries. Like, that information can all now be looked at and insights pulled from it by these AI engines in a way that, you know, again, no individual human or no piece of software could have done in the past. So our ability to use that data to make the most optimal decisions for marketing and our business supply chains has never been better. And there are tools there that are, again, free or next to free for you to use to start getting some of those data-driven insights as we see them out there now. Predictive analytics, again, these all overlap each other as we kind of discussed about this. But again, with all of that great, with all of that great data, we can, maybe you jump in there, with all the great data, we can use it to predict what our customers want, when they're going to want it, you know, what holidays are coming up, you know, what special event in their life or anniversary have they always come and bought a cake at this time of year for, because we know that's their anniversary. But this allows us in the background, instead of you going through the book and saying, oh, Mary Jo bought an anniversary red velvet cake last year, let me see what she bought. When she walks through the store and we know Mary Jo's there, oh, it's your anniversary week this year. This is amazing. Well, why don't you let's do something a little bit extra for you this time, Mary Jo, because we know you're going to get one of our red velvet cakes. Create those human moments that create an emotional connection to your brand by using the predictive analytics from these machines and this technology. Personalization at scale. I mentioned it a minute ago about AI chatbots, but again, the ability of this technology to look at all of your data, and even if you only have 500, you know, customers, if you've got a database of 500 people to read your newsletter and pay $4 a month for it, you've got data. You've got data that is meaningful and can be parsed by this technology to provide you insights and an idea of who your customers are that, you know, could only previously be done through telephone conversations or talking to people in real life. I can now basically get as much information about my engaged customers from these, you know, data aggregation and, you know, predictive analytics to know exactly what my customers want, when they want it, what language they like to use, how, you know, informal they are, you know, how formal they are, what their age level is. But use all that information to make things more personal with your brand at a scale, because personal and emotional connection to a brand, whether it's cupcakes or swing sets or software, that creates brand allegiance. Nobody has brand allegiance to Nike or Coca-Cola or Apple because of purely the tech or the taste. It's an emotional brand connection that we have, that we associate with our humanity or the projection of ourselves in some way. So always, always, always look for ways to use and bring out humanity with these tools. Go ahead, Dr. Lewis. Is that you jumping in?
No, I had to, because I mean, all of this sounds great. I mean, this is a lot. Like, how do I do this? Like, show me something. Can you, we want to see this work.
Absolutely.
Like, anybody here want to see it work? Like, I would love to see like what happens, how we actually do this. Can you do a
Absolutely.
little demo?
I am happy to. I was gearing up to do one as we spoke. Let me make sure I've got my screen set up over here. And I will do a screen share and we'll see if we can get it there. Yes. Okay, so you are looking right now. Well, let's go back and we'll just start from the beginning. This is Runway ML. This is one of the is everybody able to still hear me? I'm sorry. Somebody type in chat. I just have lost you in the background there. Hopefully you're able to still see this here. I'm looking at, great. Okay. I'm just getting odd systems messages from my Mac here as I do screen share. So this is Runway ML, one of the image to text generators we talked about. You may have heard of DALL-E. You may have heard of Midjourney. Those are also text to image based generators. This platform is one of its own. It does those things that DALL-E and Midjourney do. But unlike those, this Runway has the best and the first tool that actually generates video from text prompts. So like the video I created at the opening, what we're going to do here is I'm going to crowdsource a couple of decisions. Let's see. Let's don't want to do first person view. So as somebody that in the chat text in a type of an object, a canyon, a desert, water, an office building, a campground, something. Give me, an object or an area to start with. Throw it into the chat, and we'll fill the first one in, and then we'll be thinking about, where is that, canyon, desert, office building, is what city is it in? Is it in the state? Is it on a different planet? I'm waiting for chat, or I'm just going to jump in here and do it myself again.
All right, come on, guys. Give us a place. Give us a location. Give us an option. Put something in the chat.
Yeah,
This is the interactive demo you guys were asking me about. So let's see what you have.
You want to see the middle of a city? You want to see in the subway system? All right, I'm going to start out with, let's see, we're going to be flying through underground tunnels.
Oh, I was going to say a shopping mall, but okay.
Okay, let's do shopping mall. We got time. Where is the shopping mall? What is it in a city, state? Is it on a space station on a different planet? Is it in a mall? Give me a place where it'll be.
I've never been shopping on a different planet. Now I've been to a bunch of malls, but not one on a different planet. I'd love to see what that looks like, because I'd love to be able to say that my items are out of this world.
Let's see. I'm trying to. What's a good? I bet if we give it a fictional planet, it will give us a better.
So we got one
output.
that's asking for something in outer space. So can we put it in outer space? A shopping mall?
Sure. Let's see. What is one of the name of the planets in Star Wars? I'm completely drawing a blank here now. Or
let's go with what's the one with the
Star
rings
Trek.
around? Oh, Pluto. We got Pluto.
Okay, we'll try Pluto.
And the product they said, if you can do an object, would be shampoo. I think they were trying to go for Shampluto. I like that. Shampluto.
Okay. All right, it's going to take a minute or two for this to generate, but what we're doing right now, again, the type of shot in the first person view, which is kind of the one you saw in my videos, is like you're basically the position of the camera swooping in and flying in now, I guess we're going to go through a shopping mall somewhere, a shopping mall on Pluto, on the planet Pluto. Let's be specific here. On the planet Pluto, towards a bottle of shampoo in a store window. Let's give it as much information as we can to let it kind of cook. And then I'm gonna just add 24 frames per second, because I can add in filmmaking techniques or slow motion, or different video generated commands as well, when we're creating these, to kind of, again, like literally create moving dollying video from scratch. So I'm going to click generate. We'll let that cook for a second, and then we'll come back and I will show you guys what we've got. So I'm going to on-screen share here for a second while that finishes out, and I will keep talking.
Let me know if you want me to go back to sharing the presentation.
Yeah, go back to the sharing. Yeah.
All right.
Just trying to turn off my screen share there.
No worries. Let me get it ready. And tell me when you can see it. Is it up yet?
I've got you. Okay, there we go. Yes. Humanity at scale. I'm a broken record on this. We'll talk about these themes again, but like, you figure out a way to use all these different variations of these superpowers to extend your humanity, whether it's through creativity, whether it's your business, whether it's your personal reputation, it's the content you create. All of these things are tools for our humanity. There are things that AI will never be able to do because it doesn't have a soul. And that is a pretty hard and fast opinion that I have about this technology. We love to ascribe it magical powers, and it's I've even said genie in a bottle here, and it feels that way right now. But at the end of the day, this is ones and zeros crunching on a giant supercomputer somewhere that is meant to just be a tool for us to have, express our humanity. And whether that's an expression of something creative, music or artwork, or whether that's an expression of doing my job well by getting a bunch of, marketing insights and making sure that I convert all of my customers over Halloween, which is our busiest season. Want to take a quick minute here to bring everybody around the question that we have, ethical implications, and there's an ethical AI, implementation in the way that we use these tools that is fundamentally different than any other tool that we've had before, from the days of the first, using bows and arrows, to the days of the first, social, first books, to the first social media networks. All of these technologies that are adapted at human scale, come with, ethical questions and dilemmas. This technology comes with an ethical dilemma and ethical questions at a scale that we have never dealt with before. The species that is not specific to us in North America or any specific country or person in the world. This is a global phenomenon, and it is an inevitability. It's an inevitable evolution of technology. There's no stopping it. So we, as marketers and as online citizens, have to start thinking about the ethical implications, and that this includes the environmental implications. In order to run these AI models, it takes a ton of energy. As I don't know if you've seen the news recently, but Microsoft, famously Microsoft Word and formerly Bill Gates, just made a private deal with the owner of the 3 Mile Island nuclear reaction facility to start up a nuclear reactor at 3 Mile Island, specifically to produce electricity only for AI used by Microsoft and OpenAI. This technology company, needs so much energy that they are going back to one of the biggest environmental and one of the biggest nuclear disasters we've ever had, and the biggest one in the United States for sure, at 3 Mile Island, and have decided that while we can't use part of those generators, one of them still works. So we're going to pay the owner of that enough and take the risk to start up a nuclear reactor to generate enough fuel just so that our AI has more energy than the other AIs to win business. That's a level of extracting from the environment and potentially creating, environmental impact that is not rivaled by many other technologies other than maybe shipping, globally, or, petroleum markets. So, as we start to use this technology, this is not to say to be a Pollyanna and don't use it, or to say that, that you're ethically correct and you're going to be on the right side of the world if you never use AI. Well, I regret to inform you that, if you decide to take that moral stance, and I would respect anybody who chooses to do that, they will be behind from business advantage standpoint. What can you do as a marketer or an individual using these tools? Well, first, we can use our rights here in the United States as citizens to vote for people in government office that will regulate the large players that you and I can know. I can't tell Microsoft not to open up 3 Mile Island again. It may be much safer. It may be a good solution. I'm apolitical as to that particular decision, but only the federal government level can actually, regulate some of these things when it comes to the giant environmental impact of these tools. So our first job is to vote for people to align with our ethics around the regulation of the environmental impacts of these models and their business models. The next is to think about the larger environmental impact of your entire business. If you're using a lot of AI and you are the baker that we had here before, why don't we do one day where we do a huge bake sale to, buy trees from a tree farm to re-tree a park, or, to plant 500 trees. A gesture to try and offset and to let your customers know, and so that you can go to sleep at night knowing that you are trying to bring some sort of a balance to the power struggle between this technology and not only our time and attention, but the environmental impacts of it. So I will say this on AI ethics before we go back and look at our video here. I truly believe that you have to figure out not only how to use this best for it to bring out humanity, best for your customers, but you have to look at as is my messaging and my use good for society at large? Because when we are using artificial intelligence and things that can move so fast, make decisions, buy things, scrape data, do stuff for us, it's bullet out of the gun fast. So our decision to say something stupid on Twitter or make a bad Facebook post was damaging and potentially canceling before. If you as a brand marketer use a chat bot in the wrong way or give it the wrong information, or start asking your LLM how to code an app to make sarin gas, these things all have a ripple effect into our larger society that no other technology did before. So use it not only ethically for you and your customers, but think about yourselves as a part of the larger human species that is engaging with this technology, because we really have to think about using it for the good of all of us and not just our businesses. Now, let's get back and look at that video and see what came up here, and I will finally get to the Q&A. Okay. All right. Well, that's got something cooking here. That looks very futuristic. I'm going to bring it up full. Can you guys see that? Hopefully full screen. Let me make sure here. Coming in a bottle of
Y'all
shampoo.
seeing him share it yet? I'm not seeing you sharing yet.
Okay, let me start it over again here. I'm sorry, that's what I was asking. I couldn't tell if it went through or not. Let me look at. Okay, share now. There we go. All right, give me a second here. Okay, now let's share that. Now we can look at our screen. Okay, these are our prompts. First person flying through a shopping mall on Pluto, going towards a bottle of shampoo in a store window. Interesting. That is a shopping mall on Pluto. Now, as you can see, this example, and it generates 10 seconds at a time. I can extend it, I can refine it. There are a lot of ways that I can work with this asset once we've kind of started down this path. And you will see this a lot, and you saw that in the previous AI video that I showed you, like this idea of kind of Greek text, like where the AI knows that there should be some sort of text there, doesn't know what font to use or how to spell what language to put it in. So you get this kind of Greek, AI random text where we can fill in, but I could go to, any simple Adobe editing platform and change the text on that product. If I really had it, or I had the bottle of shampoo already that I sold this bottle of shampoo, I can put that into the video and say, what would this shampoo look like in this shopping mall on Pluto? So that, you could do a futuristic version of it, flies in right on your product. So think about everything else around there, and how you can customize that just to your specific product. Think about the power of being able to create video, from scratch without leaving your desk, to fill social media content. Again, this video as it comes up is really entertaining. I think it's a fun sideshow. This video has no soul. It's going to take you as the marketer, your creative team, to start taking this tool and bending it to your will as a human to create the soul of what it takes to make good creative video, whether you're spending $30,000 on location with, MTV for a commercial, or you're at your desk in the basement of Brooklyn typing it into Runway, ML, like I am right now. So we can go, I will stop sharing again and wrap up here and give you guys a little bit of time for Q&A.
All right, so I'm kind of scared But let me go ahead. You have one more slide that I just think we gotta play, because I mean, it's one more slide,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah.
just leave that one by itself. So let me share that one,
Okay,
and then I'll advance it because it just seemed cool.
okay, great.
Okay, this one, does it move? Does it move?
Yeah, that one should play. There you go. I don't know what the age of our audience is. Most of you may remember that Coldplay song. Pretty big hit. That was Kraftwerk in 1981 with instruments and synthesizers they built themselves.
Computer love, computer love, computer love, computer love.
This is why I particularly love the Kraftwerk example, and I could do a whole separate talk on just Kraftwerk and their engagement with technology. But this is a group of experimental German artists, a band starting in the 70s in Germany that made records between 1974 and 1984 that basically I firmly believe were more influential than any of the Beatles music. The This band and their approach was much more of an artistic approach towards technology as a whole. They dealt with, through all of their albums, themes of the intersection of humanity and machines, cars, trains, the radio, nuclear power, and then in 1981, the home computer, which is one of the most sampled records in all of history. And the Kraftwerkers really, basically, because they embraced technology, because they were making their own instruments and trying to make human things with electronics in the 70s before anybody was thinking about making music with, electronic, instruments. They chose to engage it, and they have created such a human experience that they literally helped invent the genre of techno music. They helped birth hip hop. They helped birth a Miami bass. They helped birth electro music. Like these, this band and their ability to use technology and embrace technology that didn't exist to create a more human experience is one of the most influential art or bands and artists of all time, especially in my opinion. So I will leave it with you this: try to approach technology like Kraftwerk to make more human experiences and do better things for your company rather than just trying to scale the capitalist ladder in the way that we were taught by a lot of traditional Silicon Valley oligarchs. AI is a technology, all of its forms. Remember, it's a tool. Remember that the way you use this tool can potentially affect people around you and the online discourse in a larger magnitude than ever before because of the power it has. That same power can provide you insights and predictive, predictive algorithms that allow you to do business almost in real time and with the humanity of going to the farmer's market, but only if you choose to use it that way, only if you choose to make it human and not to use it to remove humans from the process. And I will leave it at that. Sorry for being a fast talker. I've enjoyed this topic. I hope you guys have some questions. We'll make sure you get this glossary of links so you can click around and try some of these different platforms.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so I have now set it up so that you guys can actually come off mute if you have questions that you want answers to. So if you got, we have a few more things we got to do housekeeping wise. We've got about 10 minutes or so for questions. So is there anybody who feels comfortable coming off of mute and asking your questions? Don't be
Jump
shy.
in. I'm going to keep talking about Kraftwerk if you guys don't ask a question.
Well, sometimes people like to ask their questions at the very, very end, or when they'll send you something personal, and usually I'll get them
Sure.
in the DM. So no worries.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and tell those of you who are still on the call Let me go ahead and tell you just a couple other things before you hop off. And those of you who want to stay and ask your individual questions, you're more than welcome. So just so you know, this is the first of 5 entrepreneur speaker series. We've got them going on the rest of this month and all of November as well. So you can always sign up for our events on Linktree/speaker series. Linktree is spelled a little special. It's Linktree, but there is a period or a dot in the word tr.ee, tree, tr.ee. So Linktree/speaker series. You can find everything there, or you can take a picture or scan that particular QR code. Because we've got 5, like I said, of these speaker series coming up for this particular fall. Now, you just heard about marketing in the age of AI. The next one is also the number 5. This one is great because this one is about the 5 C's of credit and loan types. I'm going to tell you about that again. We're also going to talk about going legit. If you are interested, let's say you are currently in the catering business and you're doing it from your house or you're doing it from your car and you want to go legit and actually get into a building or actually get into another situation that's legally recognized where you can get you some proper insurance. Cameron Burkhardt is going to come out and he's going to talk about going legit, transforming your catering your catering passion into a successful venture. We're offering that in 2 ways. You can either take it online or you can come out in person where you get to taste some of Cameron's cooking from his place, the Sugar Beet Kitchen. So we encourage you to either join us in person or to join us online. And everything, again, is absolutely free. It's already taken care of. After that, we're going to have Dr. Ram to come and hang out with us and talk about, silencing self-doubt, how to overcome the imposter syndrome. That one is going to be powerful. So it's not only for you, it's for all your friends. So please invite everybody because that one is going to be major. Again, that one's in November, along with an even bigger one. We've got not 1, but 2 people coming to talk about franchising. And it's not just food franchising. These 2 people own a ton of businesses. I mean, they're businesses you may not have heard of before, like, I don't know, Subway, a Wingstop, or Massage Envy, maybe even a gym or 2. Or like 700, you may want to check these guys out because they know how to scale. So if you like what you have, they're going to help you decide, do I want to just go out on my own or do I want to go the franchise route? Maybe your business is so successful, you're ready to start franchising out. So you want to be there. That one again is going to be in person. So you have an option of either taking it or watching it online or coming out in person. We're going to be at the Dallas Culinary Institute off Webb Chapel for both of those in-person ones. So the one about transforming your catering passion into a thriving business, going legit, that one's on November the 6th. And then the one about franchising is going to be on November the 21st. So we're excited. They start at 5:30 if you're in person, so you can fix you a plate. And then at 6 o'clock, everybody's going to get started, or whether you're in person or you're online. So again, remember, don't forget to sign up for the 5 C's of credit and loan types. These guys are from the bank. They're excited because interest rates just went down. They want to give away money. Please come and see the 5 C's of credit and loan types, right? And then one of the other perks, and one of the reasons that Dallas College puts these things on is because they want to see you succeed. They are covering the funding for all of these events, and they're covering funding for you guys to go and get one-on-one professional business consultations. They've got a DCVC, which stands for the Dallas College Venture Club. They've got a growth advisory, a growth lab advisory, where you can come in and meet with somebody who can help you grow and set goals for your business. So that being said, I want to thank you guys for being an awesome and attentive audience. And as always, we're going to stop this recording. It takes a while for everything to render. So unfortunately, you can't go play with all of the links tonight because I got to wait on everything to come, and you will get an email. Today's Wednesday, so by Friday, that should have the links to everything you need, and then also the notes from the summary. Thank you guys again for coming out to the Dallas College Entrepreneur Speaker Series. It's been great. Feel free to hang out and ask questions. Thank you, and thank you.
Cheers.